Who am I speaking with?
Jimmy Padia from Floatbot.AI.
Okay, what's Floatbot.AI?
So we are a voice-first conversational AI platform, and we are helping to automate claims FNOL, the first notice of loss, and also the claim status calls after that.
Okay, so AI is involved. It's in your domain name,
That's right.
company name. I see generative AI and all this other stuff. So walk me through an FNOL. We're talking about like auto, homeowners. What's specifically?
So primarily PNC. So I'll tell you a story of, let's say a client of ours that we are working with. So it's a homeowners carrier based out of Texas, and it's prone to catastrophe, right? A lot of hurricanes. So when a hurricane comes in, they only have 50 to 70 agents, right? And thousands of people all of a sudden they start calling, and their phone lines are kind of choked up, right? So that's where AI comes in and handles all the FNOL calls. Not only that, we actually so our AI agents can scale up from 50 to 50,000 in seconds. It's 100% accurate. It works 24/7, and it reduces the cost by 80% as well.
Okay, so can you give me an example? Like walk us through, let's say, hurricane. I live in Florida. Hurricane comes, right? Can I do it on my mobile phone? Can I do it on the computer? Can I call?
So you can actually do it all three.
Okay.
All three ways. Okay. So what we recommend our customers is, whatever number they have, 800 number they have, launch our bot, AI agent bot on that number, on call as well as text. So now you can call as well as text that same number. It also works seamlessly, like first call and then text as well. Where you can upload some images, etc. for damage. You can also go to the website of the carrier and do it on their website as well as the chatbot. But from our experience, the most two channels that work well or the adoption is highest on call or text, basically.
Yeah.
On the 800 number of the carrier.
Right. So during a natural catastrophe, bandwidth is of a premium, right? So texting, likely in a catastrophic situation, is likely by default becomes the most popular one, because you just can't get like enough cell signal to actually be able to call, especially for an extended period of time. So if someone was texting their carrier or whoever, is there like an app?
No, it's a natural, just like you're texting your friend. It's an 800 number that you're texting to, and you're talking to a AI claim representative.
They need to have the number though.
They need to have a number.
Okay.
But the number is the same number that's published on the website of the carrier. That's what they're supposed to contact for claims, for filing a claim.
So hurricane comes and shoot, I have damage. Pull out my phone, no cell signal. I'm going to text. I pull the number up. I have damage at my property. What happens?
Well, an AI agent would reply back that, we are sorry to hear that. First of all, the agent would...
It's using soft skills.
It's using soft skills. It's very empathetical, understanding that the policyholder or the claimant may be in a stressful situation, right?
Yeah.
It would immediately reply back, try to get all the details, what happened, and then file a claim and say that your claim has been filed, here is your claim number, and this is the register that's assigned to you.
Okay.
And these are the contact details for the register. And after, so basically at that point, the claim is successfully filed.
Does the AI or does the system recognize the phone number that it's coming from? Because I can think, shoot, I don't know what my policy number is.
Absolutely.
And it's inside the house in a manila folder, and the roof just caved in. I'm not going in there. So how does the bot navigate, just who this person is and try to tie those pieces together?
So we know the number from which they are messaging, number one. I mean, obviously we ask, if they don't remember the policy number, which happens all the time, we typically ask them their last name, their zip code, when did the loss happen, and we try to locate their policy, basically.
Maybe the last 4 digits of your social security number.
Typically not the social security number, but date of birth or the mailing address, the last name and the zip code. Most of the time is enough.
Okay.
And then we locate the policy. We typically ask 1 or 2 additional questions just to authenticate that policyholder. And typically that's like, can you tell your mailing address, or can you tell your date of birth, just to authenticate them? Yeah. Or can you tell your mobile number on which this policy is registered, or can you tell your email address on which this policy is registered? So I mean, typically, and this could vary from carrier to carrier, what processes they follow. Once they're authenticated, we go all the way to kind of filing the claim.
Okay. Do you do that nice touch thing that a lot of these things are starting to do, where when you ask for a question, they answer, and your system's looking for something up? Do you have like something in between, like a pretend typing or whatever? At least it gives them a sense that like, hey, something's happening and I have not been disconnected.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens a lot on voice typically. So if you hear our voice demo, which actually we have a number which anybody can call and they can experience the bot. But yeah, that cannot happen on text, but that happens on the voice. But if they're on a chat bot on the website, then that happens as well. Like a typing happens. But on the call, typically we play a kind of a typing voice in the background, tuck tuck tuck, so that they know that there's something that the AI agent is looking up something.
It's a small touch, but it's a nice one, because it's the last thing you want them to do is have another worry that like, hey, it's taken 2 minutes for them to look up my stuff. Was I disconnected? Am I going to have to make this call again? That's the last thing that they want to do.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Yep.
So it's P&C, so it does auto as well.
It does auto. We primarily auto home, yes. And
so ultimately, this can be beyond FNOL. This can be extensible, right?
Absolutely.
As well, to do other functions. So I'm imagining an auto accident where it's like, I pull out my phone again and get the number and text, hey, I was just in an auto accident, right? And while I'm there, might as well take
the photos.
Take the photos to take some details, like, hey, this person just ran through a red light,
Absolutely. So good point, Nick. What we have seen is after FNOL, a lot of uploading the evidences for the damages. The second is they can text or call back to know the status of the claim. Hey, what's the status? I mean, that's what they want to know, right? And after that, what we have seen is during the journey, the post the claim is filed till the closure, there are so many touch points with the claimant, right? That adjuster, has to do that manually right now. And there are so many other players involved. We envision that this AI can be used to automate a lot of that as well. I mean, just an example, we just are talking to another platform that actually lets their customers or claimant upload the receipts if they're in a temporary stay, right? And so they can just text, they can keep texting their receipts, and it can just file or manage or upload those receipts to the claim. So the registers can look into
through
those
the
receipts.
text messaging.
Through the text messaging, that's right.
Which is everyone.
So this is like a touch point.
Even with maybe not kids that can't read, but from young folks all the way to the elderly, text messaging is ubiquitous.
Absolutely.
Right, like it's the one thing that's like pretty easy for everyone to kind of accomplish, and that makes it so much easier, because it's then like you just go into your text messages and say, okay, this is where I left off. I just, I needed this $2,000 thing for, Blue Tarp or whatever.
Right.
So you can
that's right.
just upload
and we also have a mode where we can fall back to an adjuster as well, just in case if they want to talk to an adjuster, we can enable that as well through text or through call. Basically. So at first layer, AI agent would try to automate as much as it can, but there's always a fallback mechanism where they can fall back to a claims rep or an adjuster.
So AI's had like mixed reputation over the last couple of years, and I think it was last year when ChatGPT came out, all of a sudden it became a buzz. So in Floatbot.AI, like, have you seen also like the sentiment change in AI? I'm imagining like it was at first difficult to get folks to not take AI seriously, but there was probably like a reticence or a fear about it. But I think once ChatGPT came out, you must have a lot of inbound activity, because some of the fear is gone.
I would say it just AI became a lot more smarter. So with the whole large language model, and now it's not just ChatGPT, right? You have many other models. Google has its own model called Gemini, and then you have many other models that are open source models as well. So it's just the overall technology that had a paradigm shift, right, with large language model. So definitely the confidence on AI is a lot more higher. I mean, now companies know that, good amount of calls or tasks can be automated, right?
Yeah.
And it just works. And everybody has used ChatGPT, right?
And it's probably something that's important as well. You've been around for a while, right?
Yes.
So you've been around before ChatGPT.
That's right.
So perhaps for teams that out there, I'm fascinated with the buy versus build paradigm for teams that are out there that are used to sort of building things themselves. I have heard stories already of folks who are just like, well, we can build it. We'll just put a ChatGPT layer on it. Can you talk about some of the drawbacks on that and how Floatbot, with the models that you've been accumulating over time, is, we'll call it better. It's just it's a better fit for the day-to-day consumption of a claims office, whereas ChatGPT has not been trained on all of those things.
Yeah.
So can you talk about like the advantage of having your own internal models that you can, or your internal corpus that you can train your models on?
Sure. So I mean, typically if I talk about claims FNOL, right, it's a conversation with 15, 20, 25 questions. And by default, ChatGPT hallucinates, right? It cannot. So we have worked with our own large language models, even to some extent our platform that is able to build the bot in a way that the hallucination is minimal. So yeah, it's while it's there, it's cool to experiment, but still, so somebody just want to build on top of ChatGPT off the shelf, it's still a long way.
Yeah.
So and whereas something that's something that we have been around, and we have tried to continuously manage to solve that problem.
Yeah. We'll see more, but thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick. Good to see you again,
Okay.
and good to see
Sure.
you, Mark.